Blessed be witches, and welcome to another episode of Witch Please. It is I, Odin the Seer, and today we are doing our spirit mirrors. Yes, honey, it is time. Now, a soul mirror or the black mirror is great when it comes to understanding, communing with the soul, the darker sides of yourself, understanding yourself, why you do the things you do. Right? Why you struggle with what you struggle with. But the spirit mirror, boo-boos, the spirit mirror brings in divine enlightenment, okay? The higher self comes down and assists you. Allow yourself to get into a meditative state and just allow the divine enlightenment, the vibrations within your day to heighten. Allow them to be able to, for you to be able to see things from a different perspective, to be able to see things clearly. So I highly, highly recommend all of my mirrors, of course, because it's all a process to understanding yourself, connecting spirit and soul, understanding the elemental selves. Now, with the soul mirror, I'm always a little bit more apprehensive when I tell people, you can connect with the gods and whatnot, because at that point in time, you're kind of dealing with the darker goddesses, you're dealing with the darker aspects of the self, the unknown, and that can be a little scary. Very important to do, right? But it can be a little scary. However, this mirror is created more for the higher vibrational beings, okay? This is not about Tulpa energy, this is about archangels, angels, the gods, goddesses of whatever belief structure that this is what this one is used for. It's all about divine connection and divine enlightenment. So I hope you guys get this mirror done and start working with it and see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's get started. I'm so freaking excited and get this done. You are going to need your picture frame, your spirit salt, your spirit incense, your Florida water, a paintbrush, purple or indigo paint, toilet paper or tissue paper, and a work surface that you can use so that you don't destroy whatever it is you're doing this on. You just want to take the mirror out of the frame. Now, I'm using a different frame this time because I wanted to be able to show y'all that you can use any old frame, okay? It is really not that important. As long as it is a glass mirror, you are fine, okay? And you always want to keep this little insert, this white insert, because you will be putting this on the back of your mirror to make sure that you have coated it properly. So what you're going to do is you're going to spray the whole surface of this mirror with your Florida water, okay? Now, if you have not or do not have Florida water, you can always watch my tutorial. I should put a link below here for you to be able to find out how to make my recipe for Florida water. Then we want to take our tissue paper or toilet paper and we want to move towards us, okay? So we're going to be bringing these energies in towards us. Now you're going to flip it towards you again, okay? And you're going to do the same process on the other side using your Florida water. Okay, so then we want to flip this again towards us. I want you to understand that you do want to use your Florida water to be able to cleanse this, okay? This is a porthole to the spirit realm. We really want it to be cleansed. We want it to be clear, okay? And I find that if you omit this process, you don't really get the same effect with any of the mirrors. So I highly recommend that you do not omit this and you do this because it is very important for creating the correct vibration for the beings to be able to come through, and it also protects you. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We are going to use our salt. So for those of you who do not know what this salt is, I have my tutorial. So I'm going to pour a little bit of this into my hand. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make the 6-point star or the Star of David on this mirror. As above, so below. Now, here's a little hack for you. For those of you who have made this spirit salt, you know there are some crystals in here. If there's smaller crystals, what I do is after I've used them and I use the incense, or the salt has lost its scent or whatnot, what I'll do is I'll put this into a strainer and I'll pour water over it, and then I will actually retain the crystals that were in rather than just disposing of them. And then those crystals are highly charged with spirit energy that I will use in sachets or puppets or whatever I want to bring that higher self, that angelic energy, honey. So don't waste them, okay? You keep them because those bad boys are charged. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to leave this for about 15 minutes and we are going to come back and remove it. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take this off. Now again, we're always moving towards us, okay? So we're going to move towards us. And remember to save this salt, y'all, because this salt is going to be used for many other purposes, and you want to be able to reuse those crystals, as I said. So I'm just going to leave the salt down here at the bottom, and then I'm going to put the salt back in its jar when I am finished adding my paint. Okay, so now we're going to do our paint. Now we're going to go through the same symbol that we had with the salt, okay? So we are going to do a Star of David symbol, or a 6-pointed star. You always want to paint towards you. And you want to make sure that you put a nice coat. And you want to count the amount of coats that you put on your mirror. Now what you're going to do is you're going to let this dry completely. And then you're going to add another coat if necessary. Some you'll find that you have a lot easier of a time with. Other ones you'll have to go a few times at it. And that's normally that there is a little bit of a lack of connection there, or your connection is stronger, and you'll find that that happens. All right, and we are back. So what we're going to be doing now is we are going to be assembling this mirror, blessing it, and consecrating it. So this took me about 4 coats. Now the reason why it took me 4 coats is because spirit is a very unique element in and of itself, okay? We have a tendency to be caught up in illusions that we think are divine, when in actuality, they're man-made. The divine asks something very unique from us. They ask for authenticity. They ask for unconditional love. They ask for higher knowledge. They ask for a plethora of things that if you actually stopped and took a moment and looked at some of the actions that you do in your day-to-day life are not coinciding. They don't coincide with the divine message. Because anything that blocks you, anything that doesn't allow you to be an open, free being is limiting. It's limiting, and it is limiting your connection to the higher self. So always think about it that way. Anything that is restrictive, anything that is limiting, anything that stops you from being able to experience life is going to stop you from experiencing the divine. Now, you can sit in the lotus position and you can meditate for years and years and years and years. If you're limited in your perspective, if you are limited in your abilities to be able to feel and see the divine in everything, you will never become a pure vessel for the divine to work through you, and you will be limited in your experiences. Limits, no matter how you look at them, are just that, limits. And you will also find that what you really held fast to and what you thought was very important to you eventually just fall away. They no longer have meaning, and they no longer have power over you. And that is the key part right there. You have overcome these illusions. You have overcome these blocks, and you have became more resonant with your higher self. And truly, the only reality is the higher self. Everything underneath it is illusion. All right, witch, so let's put this bad boy together. You are going to need your incense, which I have here, and you're going to need a charcoal briquette with which to be able to burn your incense on. So you take your mirror and you want to put the back that you had put the paint on, and you want to put the back side to your original piece of paper that came within the frame. I always put these on because what it does is it allows you to be able to see if there's any blocks or any areas that you may not have fully coated, okay? So I'm gonna check this now, and we are good. You cannot see through it, and we're just going to put the back on now. All right, so what we're going to do now is we are going to burn our spirit incense and consecrate and purify and cleanse this mirror. So I'm just going to put a little bit in my hand here, making sure that I get all the chunks. It's a chunky resin, a chunky incense. You take your mirror, hold it from the back. Now what you're going to do is you are going to say your chant. Hear these words I said in rhyme, outside of space, outside of time. A portal to where the higher self dwells, governed by an archangel Metatron. A place to commune, a place to grow, for as above, so is below. Beings of purity is all that I see. Protected with love, this portal shall be. So mote it be. And there we have it, witches. You are all ready to go with your spirit mirror. This mirror is about cleansing the illusions, removing them, so that the higher self can become a regular part of your reality, where you can feel the higher self, you can communicate with the higher self, and you can walk your path to enlightenment without blocks, without biases, without man-made illusions. And that is our episode for today, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it. This is the last part of the series, so something new's coming for you all in the upcoming weeks. As I said before, and I will say again, boo-boo, it is a pleasure to have you in my world. It is an honor to have you in my magic, and you are always in my heart. I will see you again on another episode of Witch. Please. I love you, boo-boos.